want what you believe for me. So tonight, close your eyes, there's no more need to fight. Ooh, watch God provide. Yeah, He will provide before your eyes. Oh, He will. So tonight, close your eyes, there's no more need to fight. Watch God provide. He will provide before your eyes. He will. Whatever you need, I know that He will provide. Yes, He'll step right in the nick of time. Yes, He will. He'll open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing you won't have room to receive. So tonight, close your eyes, there's no more need to fight. Watch God provide.
I just wanna pour my praise on you. I just wanna pour. I just wanna pour my praise on you. I just wanna pour. I just wanna pour my praise on you. I just wanna pour. I just wanna pour my praise on you. 'Cause you've been better to me than I could ever repay. All that I wanna do, I just wanna pour my praise. Everybody say, I just wanna pour. I just wanna pour my praise on you. I just wanna pour. I just wanna pour my praise on you. You've been better. You've been better. I just wanna pour my praise on you. You've been better. You've been better to me. I just wanna pour my praise on you. I just wanna pour. I just wanna pour my praise on you. I just wanna pour. I just wanna pour my praise on you.
Bring life through music, joy, and inspiration. That's the WDDO.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
It is now time for the live broadcast of the NAACP with Gwenette, Westbrooks, and Mr. Dumas.
And good evening and welcome to another segment of the NAACP Truth Show. I'm Willie Dumas, your host. We'll be joined later by President Westbrooks. Hope you had a great weekend. We've enjoyed some good weather until today. It got a little cooler, so we had to switch up a little bit. We have a special guest with us today. And before I introduce our special guest, I do want to mention we celebrated our Freedom Fund banquet this past weekend. The title of our banquet was Still We Stand with Purpose, Power, and Progress. And this is our 53rd annual Earl T. Shinholster Freedom Fund Awards banquet. We had a wonderful time. Our speaker, of course, was Pastor Tony Loudon, the former pastor of President Jimmy Carter. And he brought an outstanding message that we were really blessed from. And so if you missed it, you missed a treat. And those who did attend, I'm sure they had a wonderful time and a wonderful evening, and we certainly did. But now our special guest for today is one of the candidates that's running for governor in the state of Georgia. That's in the person of Derrick Jackson. And good evening, Mr. Jackson. Glad to have you on the show today.
Hello, Mr. Dumas. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. I had an opportunity to see you in Houston County when we had the meet and greet. And you had some wonderful things to say, and hopefully our listening audience can hear some of those things here today.
Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to your interview. And when you started to speak on the NAACP, I think about why they started in 1909.
Absolutely.
And here we are fighting the same fight that they fought in 1909.
Wow. Isn't that something?
Isn't that something?
We've all the steps that were made and all the bloodshed and sacrifice that was done seems to be fading as it relates to, what we're experiencing today. The steps that moved us forward somehow now are taking us backwards. And so there's a lot of things happening, particularly in the state of Georgia. And so this particular governor's race is going to be a very important race for the citizens of Georgia. And how do you feel that you can make a difference in what's transpiring?
Well, this race is very important. And I know a lot of your listening audience, they're going to say, listen, you all tell us that every election cycle, that this race is the most important race. But this one really is.
Absolutely.
Here's the reason why. Because in 2026, whoever become the governor in 2026 will be in the position to write the maps in 2030.
Wow.
And that's absolutely critical, especially when you start to look at what's happening in Texas and North Carolina, how they're gerrymandering the maps.
Absolutely.
So it's very critical in 2026. But here's the other reason why it's critical in 2026, because a lot of families are hurting right now.
Absolutely.
And I'm the only candidate that's not only qualified to be the commander-in-chief and the chief executive officer for Georgia. I'm the only candidate that's going to be fighting for families each and every day. I'm the only candidate that's going to be fighting for our rights, the same rights that were fought that you highlighted around NAACP. And when you talk about military, I'm going to be the only candidate. And when you think about the candidate that's running for governor, I want you to think about the following things. When you think about the chief executive officer, I have that check in the box. I did 10 years in corporate America. I had $1 billion portfolio working at General Electric. When you think about the commander-in-chief, check that box as well. 22 years in the United States Navy, retired lieutenant commander. When you think about a legislator, I'm in my 5th term. That's 10 years under that gold dome, already fighting the fight, been fighting this fight. So that's 42 years of leadership, experience, and service. That's what we need in a governor, to fight for our families, to fight for our rights.
Being under the gold dome, as long as you have, is there anything in particular you like to see change as far as how things, how legislation comes about there in our capital, or any particular laws that are in place that could be changed to make it better for all Georgians?
There's a plethora of legislation that we could change, both to introduce and champion and to repeal and replace. So let me just give you a few, right? Minimum wage in Georgia is $5.15. Your listening audience, for the most part, may not know that.
Right, because I think most people I talk to, they think that the minimum wage is with the federal wage, which is $7.25. Right.
Yes, sir.
But they're usually they don't have a clue that it's actually $5 something.
It's $5.15.
Right.
And so these last 10 years, I've been introducing or co-sponsoring a bill with other colleagues to increase that minimum wage from $5.15 to $15 the first year, the second year to $20, and then the third year, $27, which is a livable wage.
Exactly.
All right. This other aspect in terms of what we need to do is healthcare. There are absolutely zero reasons why we have more deaths than births in Georgia. 159 counties.
Wow.
Of that 159 counties, 82 counties do not have an OBGYN. 67 counties do not have a pediatrician.
Wow.
So when you think about why the most 51% of our population in Georgia, women. So why is it that we have more women dying when it comes to maternal health and infant mortality? It's because Georgia intentionally are not taking care of our women and our children. So we need to change our healthcare position in Georgia. So we have to start with making sure hospitals, one, remain open. In the last 20 years, we have closed 12 hospitals. And then here's the other aspect, because I know a lot of candidates keep talking about Medicaid expansion.
Right.
I'll do that too. But you have to do the 3 R's. I call them the 3 R's. You have to be able to recruit doctors. You have to be able to retain doctors. And then you have to make sure that the reimbursement rates for those doctors, because doctors want to keep their practices open to Medicaid and Medicare patients. Without them receiving the full reimbursement rates, they're going to specifically go towards private insurance.
Absolutely.
And we don't need that in our community.
Absolutely, because the same services the patients would receive, and so the same type of procedures the doctors would have to render. And so why wouldn't it be that they could get the full type of reimbursement that you would get from private?
You're exactly right. And especially when you have the federal government that's going after doctors right now, right? 600 doctors fired from the CDC. CDC is the gold standard when it comes to medicine and research. We should not be fighting against mumps and measles, something that we've already saw that 20, 30 years ago. And so when we're as in the state of Georgia with CDC, NIH, National Institute of Health, when we have the bedrock of healthcare and we still have more women dying than men, we're having children dying right here in Georgia, when we have 94 counties have more deaths than births. And so we need a governor that not only see us, hear us, but to also have a compassionate heart that will lead with that compassion. When you see Georgia and you see the headlines that Georgia is sitting on $16 billion surplus, the question for all taxpayers, what are you doing with the money?
Exactly.
Why is it that 122 counties in rural Georgia are still lacking resources?
Right.
Everything can't be centered around Atlanta.
When you've got all this money aside that could be used for various things that are needed in those counties, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, from mobile health, telehealth, infrastructure, from internet and broadband. And so every citizen, all 11 million Georgians, should be asking your state government, put the federal government aside for a second, should be asking your state government, what is it that you're saving the $16 billion surplus for? You should be reinvesting that money back into urban, suburban, and rural counties, especially in rural areas. Absolutely. And that's the reason why we've been investing a lot of time in the rural areas of Georgia.
Yes, because when you look at, we were talking about earlier Medicaid expansion and the lack thereof, it has caused a lot of the hospitals, rural hospitals particularly, to shut their doors. Also, people have to go further now for health services. I know in some counties they have to go at least an hour or so to drive just to get, basic health coverage. And so when you look at the impact, it's a very severe type of impact.
Mr. Dumas, we all know when you are dealing with a healthcare scenario, regardless of the pre-existing condition, time is of the essence. It could be a cardiac arrest. It could be a stroke. It could be, a number of things. Time is of the essence. And we all know that traffic is, not only unpredictable, but let's say, for example, a woman's trying to deliver, give birth to her child, and she needs to get to the hospital. What happens that she, stuck in traffic?
Right.
What happens if her water breaks? What happens if she's in a county where she's not going to have an OBGYN? We could end up with the scenario that we had earlier this year. A young woman, 27 years of age, and on life support for 3 months. And then after that baby was birthed, they pulled the plug. Wow. That's wrong. And we have House Bill 481, because it's called the heartbeat bill. It lacks compassion. It lacks listening to women.
Right.
As a father, my wife and I, we have the beautiful blend of 7 children, 4 daughters and 3 sons. And I look at them every day and see how beautiful it is that God gave us these beautiful children. Every family should feel that same feeling. They should not be feeling with a situation that the death certificate of that mother and that child stamp preventable death. And when you start to have 169 women like we did in 2021 stamp their death certificate stamped preventable death.
Wow.
Preventable means it was preventable. We got to do something about it. We can't be storing up the money for a rainy day.
And also you have some patients that have very special needs as far as their health-wise, various disabilities that require, constant care. And that lack of access can be very detrimental in those cases as well.
Yes, sir. I mean, when you think about this, Mr. Dumas, access is one thing, but the quality of that healthcare is something different, right? I mean, we're living longer because we have advanced technology, but advanced technologies only exist in a few counties. Atlanta certainly will have advanced medical, but what about Macon? What about further down south?
Right.
When you going towards Valdosta,
in the rural areas,
those rural areas, right? I discovered Ty, Georgia. I don't know if you ever been to Ty, Georgia, but the first time I've been through Ty, Georgia, and these families saying that their government is leaving them behind. And one of the things that I learned during my 22 years in the Navy, you do not leave, not one person, more or less a family, behind. And so we have to have a governor that's going to lead and love with compassion. We need a governor that's going to pay attention to the details. But most of all, we need a governor that will listen.
Right.
Absolutely. President Westbrooks, I'm glad you can join us.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
He's I'm actually, I think since we talked, I've been elected as the Georgia State Conference president, and Mr. Dumas will be taking over the role of president here in Macon-Beard.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm listening that you're kind of big on healthcare, and I'm that's something that that I'll also be focusing on as Georgia State Conference president. I retired from a hospital. So I'm very familiar with the aspects of affordable health care. And people say they're not, but people are treated different without health care.
Absolutely.
So I've worked with in the indigent, dealing with indigent care. So I'm very passionate about when it comes to health care. So we do need a governor that is compassionate when it comes to health care, affordable health care. And we're dealing with this right now with this shutdown because of basically trying to dismantle the health care that we have in place. So we do need that's why we're here, so we can kind of, listen to what, I was there in Houston County, but a little more details and for us, what your your platform is going to be, especially with our mental health also. I don't know if you've talked about that yet or not.
No, we haven't gone there. You have a question from one of our listening audience. Mr. Patrick Davis has a question, says, what is your message to younger voters under 40 years old who may be disconnected from politics?
Well, thank you for the question. And thank you, Madam Westbrook, for joining us. And I look forward to your leadership as you lead us in the NAACP. Let me answer it in the most concise way for our young people. As a father with 7 children, as I mentioned earlier, the youngest is 19, the oldest is 31. So I'm listening to young people every day in my household. And I want those who are under the age of 40 to know that they will have a seat at the table. Right. See, it's one thing, Ms. Westbrook, to invite someone into the room, but are they at the table?
Right.
See, because you need a governor that's going to say, I see you, I value you, and I'm listening to you.
Right.
And you can only get that when you're at the table.
Right.
Not on the table, at the table.
Right.
Let your voice be heard. And so we need young people. And listen, I have young people part of my campaign team. And so I'm not only walking that walk, but talking that talk as well.
And also, I believe that in the NAACP has youth all across the state of Georgia, but also we got to have our young people willing to learn and listen at the same time, because when we want to have young people that are at the table, but I know a lot of times, sometimes people just doesn't count our young people, and they are part of our next generation. We need to be able to train them in the way where they will be able to lead, maybe one day be governor. So we got to have young people that are willing to learn and train also. Those are kind of what we focus on, making sure that the youth and our young adults are trained to be able to run this organization and run, become successful leaders.
Absolutely. And I agree. And that's the reason why, to answer your question, Ms. Westbrook, I'm focusing on 3 things: family, rights, and military. And one of the things I learned in the military is mentorship.
Right.
And followership.
Right.
Because the military is so huge on mentorship and followership to groom the next set of leaders.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, I went in as an E1, Mr. Dumas. I went in as an E1 and retired as a commander. You don't get that by simply just thinking you can read everything and you know everything.
Right.
Right. I was given so much mentorship and followership in the military. And I will continue that same model that I learned in the military for 22 years as a governor, because we want young people to get involved. And much what I learned in NAACP as well. NAACP, they realize that they can harness that young people energy and then guide it in the right direction.
Right.
That's how I learned about civil rights movement. That's how I learned about those like Rosa Parks and Dr. King and all the other greats. Right. Those who we know by name and the unnamed. Right. It was through mentorship. It was how do you do a sit down? How do you do a stand up?
Right.
How you exercise the First Amendment right and peacefully protest. I learned that in the NAACP. And so we need to make sure that we have mentorship and followership that will lead to leadership.
Right.
And so, what separates you? I know you've given your platform, but what do you think separates you the most from the other candidates that are running for governor?
You know, I chuckle all the time because that is one of the number one questions, Mr. Dumas. And what separates me from the other 10, because there are 11 folks, 7 Democrats, 4 Republicans that are running for governor. But what separates me and make me number one, because I'm the only one that is qualified, uniquely qualified to be the chief executive officer and the commander in chief. So we often leave out the commander in chief. And that's wrong.
Right.
And so the chief executive officer, I fulfill that, as I stated earlier to your listening audience, I fulfilled that check in the box by being a corporate executive during those 10 years, that $1 billion portfolio. I fulfilled the commander in chief, check in the box, serving our country, starting as E1 and then retiring as a commander after 22 years, 7 deployments, 4 combat missions, 2 special operations, and 1 humanitarian. And then I think the icing on the cake is 10 years as a legislator. All of our governors since 1776 came out of the Georgia General Assembly. All of them. We never had someone to reach governor from school board, and nothing against the other elected, positions, but the public, the voters, they want someone that's experienced. And Lord knows, if you get someone inexperienced, and we are seeing this every day at the federal government level.
Right, already.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're seeing this every day,
Yes.
right? Every day we see what will happen when you have someone that's inexperienced at the helm.
I was just looking, something popped up on my news break where military probably will see their last paycheck on November the 15th if this shutdown continues. So, we have to make sure that we have people that are experienced and have people that are for everyone. My biggest some of the things that I'm concerned about is our mental health, housing. Those are some of our critical areas, especially since COVID. We've had a lot of people that are homeless because of the prices of housing.
Right.
And I would have thought that because of that, our current governor would have put something in place to put a cap on raising the price on housing, because of the, a lot of the owners or renters have increased the price of housing, because trying to get basically their monies back from not being able to collect money during COVID. So we don't have a cap, and they can just basically increase the tenants' rent what they want it to be. And that's why we see a lot of homeless, even working families are homeless. So can you kind of elaborate just a little bit on that as far as your plan would be for that in mental health?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know we have a few more minutes.
Ms. Westbrook, the sad part, the current governor is silent on everything. He's silent on everything, from ICE to, he's just silent on everything. Here's my plan, because when you speak about mental health, that goes right back to family.
Mm-hmm.
It also goes back to rights. Those 3 things I'm going to keep coming back to: family, rights, and military. Mm-hmm. If we do not take care of mental health, it will devastate families, especially when you have the right. Your government should say, listen, you have a mental health crisis. You should not end up dead. We got to train our police officers how to respond to citizens when they're having a mental health crisis. To your other question, the plan is easy. Once you start demonstrating that you care about people, the entire environment changes. Doctors realize when they gave the oath to do no harm, and they would simply want to do their job. But we have a law in Georgia that intimidates doctors.
Right.
They don't want to practice here. And so that's our conundrum. If you do not have the laws and policies to share with our citizens that even if you're having a mental health crisis, we want number one, keep you alive. Number two, get you the help that you deserve and demand. And then number three, the resources are available. We should have a mental health center and a crisis in every county.
We don't even have one in the state. The only one that we had, an inpatient facility, was shut down by Governor Deal.
That's in Milledgeville.
Right.
Right. And so this is where we are. When government is placing pressures on the family in every aspect, from mental health to pregnancy to food deserts. We haven't even started talking about the food deserts.
Right.
We haven't even started talking about what happens when SNAP goes away on November 1st.
Right.
And WIC and other government subsidies.
Right.
We haven't even talked about the big ugly bill.
Right.
All these things add up. And when you start to devastate families, when they cannot afford shelter, a roof over their head.
Right.
I mean, we have good citizens, from military veterans to
that are homeless.
We have food banks. Just on last Friday, the food bank in Atlanta, they're running low on supplies.
Right.
So when they can't even go, when churches, the pillars of our community, cannot even have soup kitchens. Y'all remember soup kitchens?
Oh, yeah.
And they started doing soup kitchens during COVID.
Right.
And so a lot of them have to close their doors because they were getting resourced by food banks. And so food banks are saying, we no longer have the supplies that we need to help you keep, children and are unsheltered, those who are homeless, fed, and a roof over their head.
We've got a caller that's called in.
And I just want to say this right quick before I know that the show is going to be closing in a few minutes, but you are welcome to come back. If you're not able to come in person, we have a link that you can come on, and it's the same effect that you'll have, but all the candidates have been invited to attend. We've gotten some responses we have not gotten, but you're welcome to come back if you if something happens that you may want to think about, you want to talk about later, you're welcome to come back on the show. This is Facebook Live, AM, FM radio. So a lot of people will get in. We can share it so people will be able to listen to it.
Absolutely. Thank you for the invitation. And yes, we will be back.
Okay.
And I would prefer to be back in person because listen, H Soul Food.
H&A.
Yeah. Ooh, some good food over there. But also, it also provided me an opportunity, Ms. Westbrook, to meet so many citizens who have shared their concerns and their interests, but most importantly, why they're hurting, and that's what I need to hear.
Right. You said we have a caller.
Well, they're not on now,
okay.
But we've only got 1 minute left. But you mentioned about the SNAP benefits and how people will be affected in Georgia.
The community gonna have to come together until we can figure it out. We're gonna have to help feed folks,
Absolutely.
Even the people that are actually on shutdown. We're gonna have to. That's something I was been working on today, trying to meet with the pastors and all of that too, in sororities and fraternities, so we can come together and do what we need to do for our communities.
Absolutely.
Well, please let me know. Please keep me informed because I would love to help aid that solution.
Yes, sir. And we actually, I sent out an email. We're doing it, even though I haven't actually taken the position yet, but I've sent an email out to send something across the state of Georgia so we can, the branches can prepare to help with that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for coming on. We enjoyed you being here. And as President Westbrook mentioned, we'll get you back on.
You're welcome to come back. Just let us know when you want to come back.
And you also can engage me on votederekjackson.org. That's votederekjackson.org.
All right. Until next week, we'll see you then. Take care.
You have been listening to the live broadcast of the NAACP with Gwenette Westbrook and Mr. Dumas. Come join us next Monday at 4:00 p.m. on 980 WDDO.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants